They say every flame begins with hope, but hope, like fire, can burn just as easily as it warms. Hello everyone, this is Life Single Review. Today we return to the story of Huyen and Dae, the couple who rebuilt their love from ashes. We watch them light a new fire, offer their prayers, and whisper promises beneath the rising smoke. But what if that fire wasn't a blessing, but a test? When the rain came, it didn't only fall outside. It seeped into their lives, their families, their dreams. Because even after forgiveness, life doesn't stop testing your heart. What happens when the people who once broke you return? What happens when love must face hunger, pride, and the ghosts of old families? Let's look closer, where the warmth turns to flame, and every promise is tried by fire. After the offering to the new stove, for a while, everything looked peaceful. The kitchen glowed with warmth, the garden filled with green, and laughter returned to the house. Huyen's hands, once trembling from years of loneliness, now held steady as she cooked. Dae repaired fences, carried wood, and smiled more than he used to. It seemed the storm had passed, but peace is never the end of a story. It's just the silence before the next thunder. One afternoon, a stranger came to the gate. She wasn't really a stranger. She was the sister of Dae's first wife. Her voice cut through the soft wind. You think you can erase the past with a new kitchen? You broke my sister's life. The color drained from Huyen's face, but she didn't speak. Dae's jaw tightened, eyes burning not with anger, but shame. The woman's words sliced deeper than any blade, because parts of them were true. Dae had walked away from a life before this one. He had chosen peace, but left chaos behind. Inside, Maya listened from the corner, clutching her doll. She didn't understand the words, only the tone, that cold, bitter tone adults use when love becomes war. Dae stepped forward. If you came for revenge, he said quietly, you've already won. I live with guilt every day. But she... He turned toward Huyen, voice trembling. She's the reason I still believe a man can come home. The woman stared at him. Her anger flickered, then dimmed. Without another word, she turned and walked away, leaving behind only the echo of old grief. That night, Huyen cooked in silence. The soup boiled over. She didn't notice. Finally, she whispered, You should have told me. Dae looked down, exhausted. I thought if I stayed quiet, the past would stay buried. But it never does, she said. It always finds the door. The next morning, the world tested them again. This time, through Huyen's own blood. Her mother came to visit after years of distance. The reunion should have been sweet. Instead, it was another wound reopened. Her mother's voice was cold as iron. So this is the man who left you in the rain? The one you built another life with? Huyen stood still, her fingers twisting the hem of her apron. He came back, Mom. And you call that love? No, Huyen whispered, tears welling. I call it forgiveness. Her mother turned away, refusing to sit, refusing even the tea Huyen poured with shaking hands. She left with only one sentence. Some mistakes should never be rebuilt. When the door closed, the silence in that house was heavier than the rain outside. Dae wanted to hold her, to speak, to promise, but promises meant nothing now. Only actions. The days that followed were hard. The rain wouldn't stop. The vegetables rotted in the garden, and the woman from the restaurant canceled her orders. The small income they depended on disappeared like smoke. Dae walked miles searching for work, returning late, wet, empty-handed. Huyen began selling old things, a broken pan, a wooden chair, a faded scarf from her youth. One evening, she found him sitting in the dark, head in his hands. It feels like the world doesn't want us to live," he muttered. "No," she said softly, kneeling beside him. "It just wants to see if we deserve to." They didn't fight that night. They didn't even speak. She lit the stove, poured them both tea, and together they watched the fire burn, steady, defiant, alive. That was the night she realized forgiveness wasn't the end. It was the beginning of endurance. Each day after, they rebuilt again, in smaller ways. Dee repaired tools, fixed neighbors' roofs, and earned enough for rice. Huyen taught Maya how to tend seedlings, how to pray before meals, how to smile, even when the rain didn't stop. And every night, before blowing out the lantern, she whispered a quiet vow. "If love is a fire, let it burn through everything but us." That's the theory Life Single Review develops, that the new fire was never just a symbol of warmth, but a trial by flame to see if love could truly endure. Now, we return to the main story, where that same fire flickers inside their home, fragile, fierce, and alive. When we return to the story, the fire in the new kitchen is burning again. But this time, we see it differently, not as a blessing, but as a mirror. Each flame reflects the faces of two people who've already been tested, and who know that peace must be earned every single day. Huyen kneels before the altar, the scent of incense thick in the air. Her voice trembles as she prays, not for wealth, not for luck, but for endurance. "Please let us stay kind when the world turns cold," she whispers. Outside, the rain hasn't stopped. Wind seeps through the cracks in the wall, but she keeps praying. She isn't asking the gods to end her suffering. She's asking for the strength to carry it with grace. Day stands nearby, holding a bowl of sweet porridge. His hands are rough, the veins on his arms standing out like rivers carved by years of work. He doesn't pray aloud, but his silence hums like faith itself. Because sometimes belief isn't spoken, it's lived. When the fire flickers under the boiling pot, the steam rises, glowing like fog touched by dawn. The house feels small but sacred. It's no longer just a shelter. It's a temple built from forgiveness and sweat. Then thunder cracks. The rain pounds harder, slamming against the windows. The roof leaks. Dee rushes to cover the hole with an old plastic sheet. Huyen holds onto the pot, afraid the water will splash the altar. For a moment, chaos returns. The test is here again, sudden, fierce, real. But this time they don't shout, they don't panic. Dee glances at her and smiles through the noise. "Keep the fire alive," he says. "I will," she answers, her voice shaking but strong. And that's when the scene changes meaning. The rain outside becomes the world, cruel, unpredictable, relentless. The fire inside becomes them, fragile, bright, stubborn. Even as the wind roars, the flame refuses to die. When the storm finally calms, the house smells of smoke and wet earth. Huyen adds sugar to the porridge, tasting it before offering it to the altar. She smiles faintly. "It's still sweet," she says. Day laughs quietly. "Maybe because we've already tasted worse." The camera lingers on them, two silhouettes framed by flickering light. Their faces are tired, but their eyes carry peace. Because the truth about love is simple. It doesn't avoid the rain, it survives it. And that night, when the last incense stick burns low, they sit together by the stove. No words, no drama, only the quiet hum of a house that has passed another test. When the rain finally stopped, the world outside looked new again, washed, raw, and alive. But for Huyen and Day, it wasn't a miracle. It was another beginning, carved by their own endurance. Morning light filtered through the banana leaves. Maya sat at the table, her school uniform neatly pressed, her laughter echoing through the small house. For a moment, it felt like peace. And yet under that warmth, both parents carried a quiet fear. The kind of fear only poor people know. What if peace doesn't last? Day started a new job at a woodwork shop across the river. The pay was small, the hours long, but it was steady. He came home each evening covered in sawdust, his clothes smelling of wood smoke and rain. Every time he stepped through the door, Huyen's eyes softened, as if saying thank you for still coming back. Huyen worked the land, planting morning glory, bitter melon leaves, and cassava. When the harvest came, she sold them to a local restaurant, sometimes for money, sometimes for rice. Every deal felt like a small victory. She had learned that survival wasn't about waiting for luck. It was about creating it with your hands. At night, when power went out, as it often did, the three of them gathered near the stove. Maya hated the dark, so Huyen would light a small fire, the orange glow painting her daughter's face with warmth. "When the fire burns," Huyen whispered, "it means the house is still alive." Maya would smile, holding her mother's hand tighter. Day listened quietly, realizing that her words weren't just for the child. They were for him, too. He had spent years running from his mistakes, chasing something he couldn't name. Now, sitting there watching his family bathed in firelight, he finally understood. This, not the house, not the stove. This was what he had been searching for. Days passed into weeks, and the garden flourished again. The air smelled of damp earth and new life. Huyen often caught herself smiling for no reason, humming softly while cooking. The lines on her face hadn't faded, but somehow, they looked gentler. One evening, Maya came home holding her school report card. Her grades were modest, but her smile was pure pride. Huyen cried, not because of the marks, but because her daughter's world was already bigger than hers had ever been. Later that night, as Day sat outside fixing a broken chair, Huyen brought him tea. The fire from the kitchen cast long shadows across the yard. He looked up, half smiling. "You think the worst is over?" She shook her head gently. "No, but we're stronger than before." They both turned toward the glow coming from inside. The stove, the altar, the soft laughter of their child. The camera lingers there. Three souls bound not by perfection, but by endurance. Because in the end, the fire that tested them also became the fire that kept them alive. And maybe that's what love truly is. Not escaping the storm, but learning to cook, pray, and laugh while it rains. When the night finally settles, the house falls quiet, except for the soft crackle of fire. Huyen and Day sit side by side, watching Maya sleep. Outside, the wind moves through the banana leaves, whispering like a lullaby. Inside, the light flickers, gentle, alive, eternal. They've learned that love isn't a fairy tale. It's work. It's waking up before sunrise to plant seeds that might not grow. It's forgiving the same person again and again because life keeps testing you both. It's holding on when everything else wants to fall apart. The fire in their kitchen no longer burns with fear. It burns with purpose. It's the sound of life continuing, of two hearts that refuse to die quietly. If you've ever been tested by love, by family, by the cruel noise of the world, remember this. Even when the storm rages, you can still keep your fire alive. Thank you for watching Life Single Review. If this story touched you, share it with someone who's still fighting for warmth, because every heart deserves a second light.